Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for coming back today. I know it's pretty early on a Thursday morning, but I am thankful that you are here and ready to get into part 2 of 4 of our Conversations That Matter training. And I really don't have any other slides except to hand it over to Hugh Life. So here
Ah,
you go.
Oh, wow, that was great.
I was going to say, wow, she didn't even come close to using her 10 minutes.
Nope.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start.
All right. Well, good morning. Welcome back. Just a little bit of business before we move forward. I know that we're all new to each other. I know that the virtual world is really tough, but we really do want you guys to get to know each other, recognize each other's faces, know each other's name. We're going to spend a lot of time over the next 2 years together, right? So we're going to ask you to be on camera unless there's a technology issue, something like that. We're going to ask you to, unmic, be cognizant of your mic and be present with us. So we know that you have other jobs. We know this is, for many of you, an add-on, and you've got a lot of things going. We just heard from Grayson that he's got 2 meetings going at the same time. So when you're with us, we're going to ask you to be present. So if you have to leave to take a call, something like that, we get it. Just put something in chat letting us know that you're going to be gone for a minute or two. I'm going off camera for a minute because this is the only time I get to eat. So whatever it is, but just communicate with us. Otherwise, we're really asking that you be present, that you be engaged. And as we're going through this, think about what it's like for your participants too. So what are the things that we're doing that work for you as a virtual participant? What are maybe some of the things that haven't worked for you as a participant? So start thinking about that and maybe we can talk through it. We want to make this as engaging for you as humanly possible in the virtual world. But part of that is that we need you guys to show up too. So if something's not working, let us know. If you've got questions, stop us. Put it in chat. Let us know. We want this to be a dialogue. So with that, we're going to jump in. And as Robbie said, welcome back to part 2. And what we're going to look at, so here's our quick agenda. This is how the day is going to kind of lay out. We're going to just do this welcome. We're going to do a quick overview. You guys are going to get a chance to talk about it. We're going to actually be designing conversations today. So we're going to ask you to kind of really reflect on what we went through the last session with the structure and the intent behind the structure to design those conversations. Then we're going to have 2 guest facilitators for 2 different conversations. So a total of 4 facilitators who are going to facilitate conversations for us as a group. We're going to have a chance to look at what those applications are going to be, and then we're going to wrap it up and hear from Robbie and do our poll and be on our way. So hopefully we'll keep you busy today. Our learning objectives for today, we have 4 of those. If somebody could read those objectives out loud for me, I would really appreciate it. Let's get some voices in here.
I'll go ahead. Learning objectives. Learn to draw on human assets and build social capital to facilitate sustainable organizational and community collaboration. Learn how people think and process in order to develop inclusive conversations with profound respect. Learn the importance of outlining the aims and the experience participants will have. Learn practical skills to facilitate effective meetings. And
All right, great. Thank you for that, Nikki. Appreciate it. All right. So those are our objectives for the rest of our time together here. And before we jump into planning our conversations and really digging into that a little bit more, one thing that people have had questions about in the past are their role as a facilitator. And we're going to have a conversation about that. But one of the things we've been asked to really clarify and ask you to think about really is the role of the facilitator. So if you want to look at page 5 in your workbook, we're going to just do a really quick look at the different types of leadership. And there are several types of leadership. You can see here that we've got hierarchical leaders, trainers, consultants, and facilitators. And I'm going to ask you when you get a chance to go take a look at that table and really reflect on it. Each one of these is necessary. Not one of these is more important than the other. And often they're situationally based, right? So depending on your role in that conversation, in that session, in that meeting, you might be showing up as the leader. So you're the decider. You're the one who's going to, that they're going to go to. You are often going to be showing up with your community folks as the facilitator. And your role of the facilitator is really to lead the group. The group has the answers. The facilitator is the person who's assisting that process. They are not the expert. The wisdom is in the room. So one of the things we're going to ask you to do is be very intentional about what your role is when you take that space at the front of the room, right? Are you the leader? Are you the facilitator? What is your role? What do you do to move in and out of those roles? So it's really about being intentional and being aware of the role that you play. And remembering that when we come to this as a facilitator, we are coming as neutral facilitators. Our role is to guide the process, not be a part of the work. It's their work. So any real quick questions about our role or position in this space? And I'd ask Irina or Travis, do you have anything you want to add to that space, that role, those responsibilities? I know it was really quick. All right. So with that, we're going to jump back into where we were on Tuesday. So we really want to try and get you to go back to that framework, get in that mindset. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in breakout rooms for about 5 minutes. And you're going to be, are you putting them in pairs or trios, Irina? Pairs. All right. So what we'd like you to do is just quick get to know your partner, share with each other how you're showing up today, what's going on. Remind each other about the information that we're processing at each level. So reflect on those 4 different levels. And then identify some questions that you thought of either as part of this conversation or something that was lingering from the last time we met. And then we'll come back and we'll talk through that for a couple of minutes. And so with that, I'm going to have Irina open up those breakout rooms and we'll see you in about 5 minutes. All right. So we're going to do a quick go around. I'm going to look to each one of our breakout rooms and just share 1 or 2 things that were kind of aha moments or key takeaways. And then if you have a question. So let's start with breakout room 1 with Kelly and Tara. What's a takeaway from your conversation and what was one question you had?
Take away from the conversation that we had was me and Ambrisha, because Kelly wasn't in on the other conversation.
Oh, okay.
Being able to convert from, I'm a real shy person and I don't do public speaking. And she was thinking of how they can help me, I guess, come out of my shell of being able to portray the information that I need to my community to get the information that I need to help us do this collaboration. Being able to convey the message to my listeners so they will, I guess, understand what I'm trying to say, or understand what I'm trying to do, as well as me listening, and they're giving me their feedback. I ain't gonna say different, giving me feedback of how I can do it better or do it differently.
All right. Well, thanks, Tara. I think you're in good hands. If I can say anything about the rural staff, the rural health staff, I would say that they have been incredibly supportive, incredibly responsive for as long as I've been working with them. So it's a great resource for you, Tara. So if anybody can help you do this, I'm sure they can.
I hope so.
So sink into it a little bit.
I want to try.
Thanks for showing up. Room number 2, Grayson and Jamie.
Joe, if you can hold on a second, I looked like Kelly wanted to share something. Kelly, would
Oh,
you?
I thought Kelly was not okay.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say my aha moment was realizing that we had something on Tuesday and I didn't know. So she's gonna send me the recording. Like I said, we're in a transition phase. I'm taking over Kim, and so one email's getting sent, another email's getting sent. It's kind of going back and forth, but I'm gonna watch the recording and look at all that. So thank you though.
Great.
Well,
Thanks, Kelly.
thank you and welcome, Kelly. And thanks, Irina, for catching that. Room 2, Grayson and Jamie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and speak for us, for Grayson and I. Yes, I kind of in the same position as she is. We're ending our program, but I'm filling in to the end. But I did realize, just speaking with Grayson, that even though we may have different roles, our name, our what we assigned as I'm like a foundation of community relations, where he's business development. We pretty much are doing the same roles, but in different areas. We kind of wear the same hats, and it's all about working together with the community and all of our business partners and finding out what's best for our area. And just from my experience with Delta and what I've experienced so far with all these presentations is so beneficial for our community. We learn so much, with the tools that y'all provide to us, that brings us so much insight that we have so many new projects that we're going to be starting in our community because of this program. So just want to thank y'all again for everything that y'all done.
Oh, thank you, Jamie. Grayson, got any thing to add? What was a key takeaway for you?
She kind of nailed it. We just talked about, her being on the end of the cohort and me coming in, but we were still kind of similarly starting off, and just a similarity in positions, how we have one title, but we fill a lot of roles. So we just talked about that.
All right. Thanks, Grayson. All right, room 3, Leah and Nikki.
Well, first off, Grayson's desk is way too clean.
He's new.
He's new? Is that what it is? Okay. My takeaway is realizing that we are all basically in the same boat right this minute. Just about all of us are the same level of confusion and comfort trying to go through it, and realizing that we've been doing things to this mindset with the conversations. We just didn't put them in the categories that y'all have them in. So that was my takeaway on
it. Okay, thank you. Nikki.
I agree with everything that you just said. That was the basic of our conversation. That was my takeaway. And I also took away that we were looking forward and enthused about just learning and building on top of the strategies that you all are providing, because we've known the things that we're talking about. We've utilized those, but we've never thought about putting it into categories like that. So just becoming more familiar with that, and hopefully, we can pass that along, to our colleagues and things. So.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Nikki. Room 4, Erica and Helena.
So in our room, we got a little distracted with with a personal issue that we had going on. So anyway, we talked about that. It was just getting to know each other. But I think the big takeaway was what you said today, with the whole facilitating thing. It's just good to know that we just have to be the facilitator and just really lead the conversation in that room, and that we don't have to have the wisdom. It's like, we just have to bring the wisdom and things out of the people and just lead that. So that was enlightening when you said that. And I guess it relieves some pressure too, to have to feel like you have to know it all and do it all and all that. You just have to really lead it. So that was good. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Helena. Erica.
We kind of hit a little bit on the why statements that we worked on last week. I'm sorry, a few days ago. And we talked about how, like, even though we're going through the motions every day of doing work for their roles as, community champions, that your why statement can actually be a personal, something personal. And so just taking time to reflect on what it is that you that brings you joy, and that can actually be your why statement. And so that's what we talked about.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Erica. Room 5, Kelsey and Precious.
Precious kind of caught me up since I wasn't here on Tuesday. But I think the key takeaway that I got was to really focus on like why you're having the conversation and what impact that conversation would make. It's not something you always think about when you're trying to ask a question to someone or get people involved, but I think that's pretty important, of like having a purpose or a reason that you're going to have these questions.
Thank you. Precious.
Yeah, we just went through the workbook, and we walked through the ORD statements from yesterday and the different types of questions and thought process, right? So that's what we talked about, really, and just the flow of conversation and how you can utilize this to have an impactful conversation, and really, like Kelsey said, what's the impact of that conversation and how can you make that more impactful?
Thanks. All right, wrap us up. Room 6, Stacy and Tabitha.
Mainly, me, Stacy talked. We just did a little catching up with each other, and as well as that, I learned that Stacy was a second year. She's going into her second year cohort, so she gave me some encouragement and told me that it will become. It's a norm with conversation, just utilizing and catching up on how to use uh the training to be better effective when presenting. And that's mainly what we talked about in our session together.
All right, thanks, Tabitha. Stacy.
I just have to start off by, I love this cohort. First, I've had conversations with Nikki and Tabitha, and I just love them. So y'all have a great group. I just want to encourage y'all to lean on each other, because I think me and Tabitha was like, we definitely have to talk again, because we kind of got caught up in a lot of personal conversation also. So it was very nice to meet her.
Oh, excellent. All right, thanks for that. And I'm going to reiterate that is a huge part of the purpose of this cohort training, right? Is that you build relationships with each other, that you can learn from each other, that when you're struggling with something, can't figure something out, call each other. You guys, I'm assuming rural health staff, that they all have each other's emails, correct? They have contact with each other. Get together, have lunch, have a cup of coffee, but dive into it. And for those of you who have been through it, make yourself available, mentor these new folks. And with that, I believe I'm going to pass it off to Travis.
Thanks, Jill. We are going to start getting a little bit of practice designing conversations, and then a little bit later a few of you will have some opportunity to practice leading, facilitating those conversations. In a little bit, Irina's going to put us into two groups, into two breakout rooms. And as a group, you'll have a topic, you'll have the rational and experiential aims. We talked about those last week, the goals for the conversation, so that will be provided for you. And as a group, we'll be brainstorming a sort of bank of questions. I'll share my screen. There's a Google link in the chat, and I'll share my screen and give you just a quick overview of what that process is going to look like. So once you open that link, you'll have this Google Doc here. One group will be discussing the role of the facilitator. You'll have a sort of mind map that you'll be looking at. And again, in the interest of not needing to be subject matter experts, it's not important that as the facilitator you understand that document per se. You're just going to be coming up with questions that you would help the group learn how to make sense of that document. The topic is listed here for you. Here's the rational and experiential aims to help you figure out what kinds of questions am I going to need to ask this group to help them make sense of this document. There's a sample opening, so if you're the volunteer facilitator, again, we'll need some guest facilitators to volunteer to help lead these a little bit later. That opening is there for you. If you want to craft your own, you certainly can, but no need to reinvent the wheel if you don't have to. And then the rest of this document is broken down into those individual levels of the conversation: objective, reflective, interpretive, decisional. And there's some space here for you to put in as you brainstorm questions. There are some sample questions over on the side. There are some sample questions in your workbook. Feel free to copy and paste. Again, no need to reinvent the wheel. You can, if you've got this book and you want to pull some questions from there, whatever, however your brain needs to make sense of this process. And then there's some space at the end to brainstorm a closing conversation. So in a little bit, we're going to go into breakout rooms. You'll have a little bit of time to think, to brainstorm some questions as a group, and then our volunteer facilitators can use that bank of questions to then pick from to design the conversation that they're going to lead us in a little bit later. Questions for right now on any of that?
And know that we're going to be in the room with you, right? So
yes,
Travis
you're not
will
going to
with
just
one
be
group, I'll be with another group. So we're not throwing you to the wolves. We're not throwing you in the deep end of the pool yet.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Thanks, Jill. All right. With that, we will move into our breakout rooms. We'll have about half an hour, yes?
Yes, exactly 30 minutes. And I want to invite you, if you need more time, just let me know so we can extend that time for design. Also, your Art of Focus conversation book could be useful here. So if you don't have it with you right now, may need to go grab it if it's close by, in your workbook. So both are good resources for you to go back and look up some questions at different levels, but your topics are already predetermined. So we won't be really spending time on that. All right, if no other questions, I'm gonna send you off to the universe and see you in half an hour. Knowing that this is not... Thank you, Robbie. Yeah, knowing this is not our last session, Jill is gonna help us with applications.
We're going to just take just a couple of minutes here, but if you guys would turn to page 17 in your workbook. And there's a series of questions that we would like you to reflect on. and answer, think about and consider, describe a situation where you intend to apply this conversation model, conversations that matter, in the next 2 to 4 weeks. And I'm going to push that up, and I'm just going to say, when would you use this method in the next week? Because we really want you to practice it, build some muscle memory around it. Find an opportunity, if it's at home with your kids or a partner, or if it's at work, wherever, just do it. Do it. And then follow through with the other questions. You know, talk about that group, that people who are being involved. We had lots of conversations in our group about who's at the table, who's your audience, right? Thinking about language, thinking about structure, thinking about activities. What would be some of the challenges? What the focus of your session will be. So what is our goals, right? What are our experiential rational goals? Describe the outcomes that you hope to achieve. What do you need to do to prepare for that? So just spend a couple of minutes reflecting on that page 17. If you want to write in your books, go ahead, write in your books if you want to take notes, but I'm going to stop talking for a minute. I was going to say, I'm going to wrap it up. And we're gonna, but I do want you to come back to this. I do want you to work through this and really think about this. Really gets you in the mindset for preparing for these conversations. So take the time to do it. And then within the next week, deliver one of these, at least one focused conversation. And with that, I'm going to bring you all back. And Robbie, do you want to do the poll? Are you ready to drop the poll in there before we wrap it up?
I am.
All right, let's get that done first.
All right, so no problem. You should all see the post-polling CTM 2 of 2. And then I am also going to drop a link into the chat. That's just our post-event evaluation. If we could have you fill that out. You'll also see it come out in an email later today. So I have 4 of 10.
All right. Well, people are finishing that up. I'm going to ask everybody to, just to reflect back on today. All right. And so I am going to do a go round, but really, I just want like 1 or 2 words that captures what stands out from you from the work we did on conversations that matter. So I'm going to start with Tara, then Tabitha, then Helena. What's 1 or 2 words that, or an image that stands out to you from the work that we just did on conversations that matter?
For me, more confidence. For me.
Okay. And then Tabitha, and then Helena.
Prepared and confident.
Helena, Grayson, and Leah.
Just the, I'll say knowledge and competence.
Grayson and Leah, and then Nikki.
Informative and insightful.
All right, thank you. Leah, Nikki, Precious.
Helpful and communicative.
All right, thank you. Nikki, Precious, and Erica. Did we lose Nikki?
I'm sorry, informative and preparedness.
I'm sorry, I feel like I talked over you. What was that?
Informative and preparedness.
Thank you. Precious, Erica, and then Jamie.
Preparation is probably what I'm going to go with.
Okay, thank you. Erica, Jamie, and then Kelly.
Listening and engaging.
Jamie, Kelly, and Stacy. Jamie.
I think we lost Jamie. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Kelly, Stacy, and Kelsey.
I would say organize and confidence.
Stacy and Kelsey, and I think that's it.
Understand and participate.
All right. Thank you all for that. And now I'm just going to open it up real quick here. What's something that you appreciate what you've learned about what you've learned?
Did Kelsey go? Kelsey, did you go?
I didn't. I was gonna say participation.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kelsey. Thank you.
It's okay. I was gonna say participation, engagement, and knowledge.
Oh,
Perfect. Thanks. Sorry about that. So again, I'll open up. Where did you find something that you appreciate about the method?
The feedback.
That's what I was going to say was the feedback.
Yes, just learning the flow and getting the feedback was very, very good.
Okay. Where do y'all still have some concerns?
Or,
Oh, sorry.
or confusion, because it landed on a lot of confusion last time.
I would say just sometimes being the difference between the facilitator role versus the leader and the speaker and all of that. I think everybody was a little bit confused with that.
Mm-hmm. How about one more? Where else are you, having a little bit of confusion? Wow, we're good.
The way this one was set up helped with some of my confusion. It helped me put things into the proper box, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to direct where it needed to go.
I think as painful as exercises are, I think forcing us to do those is good.
Good. All right. With that, then I'm going to take Irina, could you? Oh, she's got it up. I think no. Can you put up the anticipations slide, Irina? Share that with us.
Anticipations coming up. The ones that we remember, it was also a little bit challenging to get all these text boxes on.
Right. And so we've got learning how to reroute a destructive meeting, running smooth, effective, and succinct meetings, increase the comfort level of conversations, listen to listen and not to respond, be a better listener, effective listener, and team building, to build my confidence on speaking in large groups, learning effective communication, learn the foundation of conversations, to ensure everyone's voice is heard, focus on the conversation that is happening now and eliminate distractive thoughts. One person was hoping to continue to build off of the foundations of previous community champions have built and continue to grow with communicating within our community. So looking at those anticipations, where's one or two that you feel like, yeah, we nailed it. You really, really got that out of this. And anybody can pipe up.
Definitely the ensuring that everyone's voice is heard.
Listen and not to respond.
Awesome.
I like to build my confidence in speaking in larger groups.
That's what I was going to say, Leah.
Sorry, Helena.
Where do you feel like you still have, a little light on it? Could have, maybe still a little concerned, a bit of a question about?
With me, it's focusing on the conversation that's happening now and eliminating the distractive thoughts.
All right. As questions come up, again, I really want to encourage you, share those questions with us. Reach out to your resources, reach out to each other, reach out to rural staff. And then I just want to say thank you all for really participating, engaging, and doing such a great job today. You guys really did a nice job, and we really appreciate that. And it's fun to see the growth just in 2 sessions. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to, I don't know if it's Robbie or who's.
It is.
Okay, Robbie's going to wrap you
Sweet.
guys up on what you got coming up.
All right, so hopefully you can see this okay as I pull you all back up. So thank you again for being here. I greatly appreciate it, taking time out of your day to come and attend this training and being engaged. We just have some upcoming activities, and it looks like a lot, but it is over the next, month and a half. And I'll send this out with our email too, so that you have it. August 27th and 29th are the 3rd and 4th sessions of Conversations That Matter. We also have 2 mandatory post-learning reviews for the September 10th and 12th. And then the 16th and 17th, we have the Grant Writing Institute. September 18th and 19th is then the summit, and I'm so excited to see you all in person. Cannot wait. And then we just got confirmation earlier this week, so I was able to put it into our PowerPoint today. We have our boot camp where you'll be reviewing this and then learning some new facilitation methods. November 19th through the 21st, with the 18th being a travel day, but I didn't want to get too confusing in there. In Little Rock, Arkansas, there will be more information coming out later today about that. And then again, we have Q&A work times, Tuesdays at 10, Thursdays at 9. If you have any questions, just drop in. Actually, I lied. They're only on Thursdays now. Right, Ambrosia? If I remember right. But if you want to contact us on a Tuesday at 10, you can totally do that too. No problem. And then we just want you to continue to connect and introduce yourself to your partners in your community. Another reminder to just be sure to join all of the trainings and learning collaboratives and boot camps via a personal computer to ensure full participation capabilities. And then if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, here's our individual contact information. We're all available by email, phone, anything like that if you need us. And then if you get a hold of us through our main line and our main email for the program, someone who monitors that will get in touch with us and we'll get in touch with you. And with that, I am almost to the minute. I will let you have a great rest of your day.
And I'm going to add in there, Robbie, that if you've got those Q&A sessions, that would be a great time to hook up with the staff to say, hey, I'm trying to write my script for my focus conversation. So check in with them and have them coach you through it if you got questions. And with that, I'm going to let y'all go too. So thank you.
Everyone.